Tom Fitton joins us now. He's a president of Judicial Watch and the author of A Republic Under Assault. Tom, good to have you with us.
Hey, good to be with you. Thanks for having me, Vince.
Tom, I have noticed that the media has been begrudgingly referencing your organization, Judicial Watch, over and over and over these past few days because it turns out you're like the only place that's done the reporting on this subject.
Yeah, I mean, we first exposed how Major was biting many more people than the Biden White House admitted to. We exposed that, and Major ended up going to the farm more or less. And then they got Commander. We got a tip that Commander was out of control. They stalled and stonewalled our request for information. I think we had to sue. And turned out he had bitten at least 10 FBI agents or Secret Service agents, attacked them. And that was back in July. Now, 5 months later, CNN reports he attacked another agent. And there were other people who were attacked as well over the summer. So during the summer, they're saying, oh, no. By the way, we don't care that 10 agents have been attacked. We're only doing something because Judicial Watch reported on it and publicized it. But in fact, they didn't do anything because the dog kept on attacking people throughout the summer, including as recently as a week ago. And now he's out of the White House. I don't know if he's in his home or not up in Delaware. That's no safer for the agents and service and the White House service staff that staff the home up there.
Yeah.
Because one of the incidents, Commander slid out the door and bit a Secret Service tech on the back.
I mean, the president himself sustained a foot injury. I think we're getting some injury. I don't know why, but we're getting some feedback from Tom's phone. But I was just saying to Tom, they are the president himself at one point had broken his foot. It was associated. He claimed it was while he was with the dog. I don't even know what happened, but it's possible here that there was an incident that injured him. I mean, we know that for a fact, that injured him, that involved one of these dogs. Things are pretty out of control, Tom.
Yeah, and we have a source that has told us that the president has mistreated his dogs and, hits them and kicks them and swats them. And so I don't know what training they're getting, if any, but certainly, this isn't about a family dog in the sense that, there was a bite. These are Secret Service agents, White House staff, federal workers, law enforcement, who are trying to protect the president, who were bitten,
yes,
and no one did anything about it.
Well,
they tried to cover it up.
Yeah.
Biden himself suggested the Secret Service was exaggerating and lying. Just recently, CNN was suggesting that, the Secret Service agents have negative looks on their faces or something like that, as if they deserve to be attacked by the dog. Incredible.
Well, one of the, I think in the CNN reporting, one of the claims was that these Secret Service agents walk around and they're big and scary looking and they carry guns. That was the quote, that they carry guns. So therefore, maybe that's why the dogs are biting them. That's like fully insane. Why would a dog identify a gun and be like, I should bite that guy?
No, and at one point, Jill was holding the dog. The president was involved, I think, in one of the incidents where he was present. And so this isn't like plausible deniability either, that they're out of country or out of the White House and the dog is, someone loses control on staff. They've seen it happen in person. And they're still covering it up. I mean, we just had to sue the Secret Service agency for additional records because they haven't given us anything since July, even though we know there have been other attacks. So what's going to be?
What would normally happen? I mean, Tom, what would normally happen in your life if you had a neighbor who had a dog that was biting like some of the neighbor kids or something? What normally happens in that circumstance?
Well, if you were a district resident who didn't live at Pennsylvania Avenue, your dog would have been taken by the government. It would have been the mayor's office or the D.C. government would have had to figure out whether it was a dangerous dog, and the dog would have been subject to being removed. And obviously, 11 bites. Well, as you note, there are other attacks that we don't have the details on. So 24, who knows how many. And, reading the CNN report, Vince, I don't know if you noticed that, but there were parts of the White House Secret Service wasn't going into and wasn't covering, it looked like to me, because of the dog. So this is a safety issue for the president and other White House staff that the Secret Service has to have full access to the White House in order to protect the complex. And the dog stopped that from happening. And I tell you, a dog can kill someone pretty easily, especially a German Shepherd. And it's by the grace of God no one's been killed.
It's amazing that this is even happening. Also, it says something that it's not just one dog this occurred with. It seems like every dog the Bidens take into their custody turns out to be a menace. It says something about their ownership, doesn't it? Is Tom?
But that would be interesting in terms of a discussion if you weren't president. I mean, these it wasn't like it's getting to his neighbor got nicked. I mean, these are agents who are worried about having to shoot the dog. It's so bad.
Yeah. So you had a source, you just told us a moment ago, and I just want to dwell on this moment for a moment, that said that Biden has been abusive towards at least one, if not both of these animals, that he hits them and kicks them?
All three of them. Remember, Champ was this dog as vice president, and Champ passed away. They got Major. Major started biting. He was moved out, and they got Commander, and Commander was biting. And our source says he beat all three of them.
Well, it would follow that if you're striking a dog, that they're going to act aggressively in reaction to that.
Well, in any training the dog is, I would presume there was some type of training that was taking place. But if the owner's idea of training is to hit the dog if the dog misbehaves, or, I don't know what Joe was doing. Obviously, it's not going to work. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? You've got people being sent to the hospital, Secret Service agents in fear for their lives from this dog.
Yes.
I mean, anyone, your listeners, we all love dogs, right? And we all hear terrible stories or been too close to situations where dogs have bitten someone, or had family members having to deal with this, or maybe you've had to deal with it directly. And the idea that any dog owner would allow their dog to bite 11 people at least, and them not taking steps to remove the dog from the premises. Both the dog needed to be removed both from the Biden family, as long as they were protected by the Secret Service.
Right. Yeah. No. If that happened in my life, it would shatter everything. We'd lock down. We'd figure out what we do. It'd be a big deal. It'd be a really big deal if my dog bit somebody and hurt them and hospitalized them. That'd be a huge deal. But it seems like the Bidens just let it wash over them.
What's their response? Attack the Secret Service.
Yeah, that's what they've done. I'm looking at a photo that came out this week. Not a Secret Service agent, just a White House staffer by the name of Dale Haney. He's 71 years old. Looks like he's standing outdoors. I'm not sure what his job is, but there is a picture of Commander essentially hanging off of his arm. He's got his teeth clenched around the 71-year-old man's wrist, and he's hanging down. And this is, it seems like it took a photo like this getting out for the White House to finally admit they had a problem.
Yeah, and then folks worrying about workplace safety. I mean, this is sort of basic worker protect your workers 101. And I keep on going back. This is the Secret Service. I mean, when they're protecting the first family, they shouldn't have to worry about a deadly weapon, ready to attack them from the back at any moment.
Yes.
If the dog is around, you want them focused on protecting the family and not worrying about this dog attacking them.
Exactly right.
And that places them at risk. It places the Bidens at risk and everyone in the White House at risk.
Yeah. And the
I'm sorry this dog had to leave, but there was no choice.
Yes.
And it should have been done in the beginning of the year, by the way. They've known about this since as soon as the dog got there, he got out of control.
And just like every other one of these Biden scandals, it involves him being abusive in some way and covering it up in the aftermath. Tom Fitton, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time and your dogged reporting on this subject. No pun intended, truly. Thank you very much.